Welcome to the door just creaked behind me. Welcome to the Dixie Belle YouTube channel. I am live on my usual time slot, which is 2 o'clock my time here in the UK. Early morning for you guys over the pond. But I'm live here every Tuesday at 2 o'clock UK time. I am one of your Dixie Belle brand ambassadors. I've got a creaky door and I've got a dog snoring as well. I usually close all my doors, but I thought, no, it'll be okay today. There won't be any noise. Clearly, I was wrong. Also, this wasn't the planned live that I had. So I was going to go outside with you because I all know how much you love coming outside with me and listening to all the noises in the background of birds and peacocks and crazy things. So we were going to go outside and do something out there, but the weather had other ideas. It absolutely threw it down just because, you know, I'd obviously planned to go outside. And the thing that I wanted to paint outside is outside, if that makes sense. So it's wet and it's not a good idea to paint something that's wet. So we're inside, we're doing something else. Don't worry, I've always got a backup just in case. And this is actually the piece that I'm working on at the moment. So I thought I'd show you the stage that I'm at with it, which is actually the fun stage because we've got sparkly things. Good morning, everybody. Hello. For the majority of you, morning. It's actually afternoon here, but morning to most of you. So like I say, the thing that I was going to do outside involved something that is outside. If you follow my stories, you'll know that my little boy, who is almost 7, it's his birthday in a couple of weeks, he made some wooden planters for me at the weekend with the help of Andy, and he went to where we had like a little farmer's market in the village. He went down, bought some plants, planted them for me, and I was going to stencil them with you today just because I thought it would be quite fun to do that. But the weather had other ideas. It's absolutely chucked it down. So obviously I can't paint wet wood. I mean, I could, but it's not the best idea. So we'll save that for another day. So this is what I'm going to work on today. This little table. It's only a teeny weeny little table, but I'm at the stage now where I'm going to be adding some metallic accents to it. So I'll just spin it round. So this is the front. It's kind of a two-tone blue with a stencil on the drawer, and then we've gone a little bit crazy with the copper foil because I just fancied doing something a little bit sparkly and different and coppery. So I'm going to tone all this down with black wax, but I've gone in quite heavy with the copper just because I thought it'd just be fun to do. And it's got a nice shape to the legs. So it's got some like nice detail. It's got curvy legs and it's got some nice little cute feet. So I thought do something with metallic. Don't use metallic an awful lot, but when I do, I go for it. So I'm going to show you how I did that and what products I use. So these are all Dixie Belle products. Anything that I use in my videos you can find at your local Dixie Belle retailer. If you want to locate your local Dixie Belle retailer, you could go onto the Dixie Belle website and type your location in and it will tell you where the closest one is to you, and lots of them do offer shipping as well. So if you want to get it shipped to you, you can do that. So these are fairly newish products to Dixie Belle, so you may not have seen me use these before. You might even have them. You might have them. You might have beat me to it. I have used this before on a couple of little projects, but nothing quite as crazy as this. And we're really going for it. So this is the glue that you use to stick on your metallic. This is what the metallic looks like. It just looks like a roll of metallic tape, but it's very thin. So, and apologies if I'm talking to you guys that already know and that are seasoned painters and know all of this, but I do know that there is a ton of new subscribers to the Dixie Belle YouTube channel. So I'm just going to start at the bottom. Start with the newest, the kind of assume you know nothing. And then we can go from there. So this is called Stick With Me. It is a specialist glue that remains sticky. So I could apply this and then probably come back to it tomorrow and it'd still be sticky. It doesn't dry. So bear that in mind. It's also incredibly a little bit goes a long way. I don't know what the word was I was looking for, but a little bit goes a long way. So it's called Stick With Me. It's only in a diddy little pot like this, but this would probably last your entire life, if I'm honest. I've got 2 of these pots, and that's ambitious. Dixie Belle sent me 2. I'll probably never use the second, but the tiny little amount of glue goes a long way. So this is, like I say, the specialist glue that you need to stick your metallic foils on. And this is called Dixie Shine. So I've got copper here, but where's the other colours to show you? And I mean, they look obviously quite sparkly on the roll, but when you put them on furniture, they are seriously sparkly. The other colours are silver, which I haven't opened. I'm not a massive silvery person. If I do metallics, it's copper, gold or brass, like the warm tone, which is weird because I wear silver jewellery. Not exclusively, I will dabble with gold, but silver jewellery is where I'm at. But on furniture, it's all about gold. And this is the gold. So this is the most popular because who doesn't love a bit of gold? Everyone. But I thought I'd just change it up a little bit on this and go copper, because copper and blue, I thought that'd look quite pretty. And then I'm just going to tone it down with some brown wax or black wax, possibly. In true Faff Design style. We can't finish a project without wax, can we? Hair's in the way. So this glue remains tacky. Now, this is a brush that you won't recognise because it's a very old, tired, cheap brush. What I will say about Stick With Me, the glue, is that it can stay sticky on your bristles. What I have found is to very, very lightly dampen your bristles of your brush and to wash your brush straight away after you've used Stick With Me. That's the best way to get the glue out. If you leave it, you ain't getting it out. So I use a really old brush, one that's on its last legs. Like I say, these were in a pack. I think this even might be a kid's like craft brush or something. One on its last legs, one that you don't mind if you do leave the glue on for a little bit too long and you can't kind of get the gunk off. One that you don't mind throwing away. I definitely don't use my good brushes with this. And I'm only using a small one because I want to sort of control where I'm putting the copper. So wherever you put your glue is where your gold or your copper or your silver or your Dixie Shine, let's just call it Dixie Shine, where your Dixie Shine is going to stick. Don't put the glue where you don't want it to stick. You can do this through stencils. You can do this as I'm doing in more of kind of like a distressed look. So I'm just kind of dabbing it on and hoping for the best. No, I'm dabbing it on so that I get kind of a distressed kind of look to it. I don't want a solid line because I think that'd obviously look a bit weird where I'm putting it. I'm just kind of highlighting all the edges and then right down at the bottom. So I'm sort of tapping it on so that it's not like a solid line. And you'll notice it goes on white, especially if you apply it quite thickly. It goes on white and then it'll dry clear. Well, I say it dries clear. When it's gone clear, you know it's time to put your gold foil on. So it doesn't stay white, it goes clear. And then down here at the feet, so you can see how it's got like that little detail on the feet. I've already put a little bit on, but I'm going to layer it up so that I get a solid, more of a solid kind of copper foot. And then obviously it's going to sort of fade up the leg a little bit. So however you apply the glue is going to vary how your copper or your silver or your gold, Dixie Shine, however that goes on, if that makes sense. So if you dab it on, that's what your Dixie Shine is going to look like. If you paint it on, you're going to get more of a like a solid kind of look to the metallic. And I've just seen a couple of people ask about gold leafing. So I have used gold leaf in the past quite a few times, and in all honesty, hand on heart, this is better. And I'll tell you why. Number one, there's less mess. There's less wastage as well. So you can just, I normally just work in small sections. I just cut a tiny little bit off, and I'll show you how far a little bit goes in a second. There's no mess to this at all. So if you've gold leaf, copper leaf, silver leaf, anything leafed, you'll know that you will be finding gold bits in your hair, in your eyebrows, in your eyeballs, up your nose, on the floor, in the dogs, in the kids, sparkly on your skin for about 2 to 3 weeks after you've gold leafed. It literally goes everywhere. Drives me nuts. And for that reason, this is superior. So I like this because you get to add all of that detail without the mess, without the waste. Yeah, I just find it less fiddly to do as well. And I'm not a patient person. Gold leaf takes patience. This is not. It's a process that does take a while. Also, what I find with gold leaf is that obviously it comes in sheets most of the time. So you get sheets, normally sort of this big squares. And what I can find as well, especially like me, I'm not like a massive gold leafer. I tend to find that you can see the joins, even if well, I've done it a few times and still I can see them, especially if you're doing like a big surface with leaf. I think you can see sometimes the joins. I don't get that with this. I don't know why, but I don't seem to get it. But each to their own. Some people prefer leaf, some people prefer foil. I just prefer foil because it's much less faffy. See what I did there? Yeah, you know what I mean about the joins, don't you? Especially on a big surface. I've done some pieces where I've done like a large flat surface, and it really annoyed me. Even though I rubbed it and did all the things that you're supposed to do, you could still see like the sort of joins where the sheets had kind of butted up to one another and overlapped. I could still see it, and it annoyed me. So I don't get it with this. Now this, I would say that if you did want, say for example, if I wanted to do this whole entire leg in a solid copper, I would say that you won't struggle with this, but it is designed to be more of kind of like a distress kind of look, if that makes sense. So you would probably have to do like a couple of applications, like I'm doing on this foot down at the bottom here. I've already done one. I don't think I put the glue on thick enough. And obviously it's kind of gone a bit speckledy, which is the effect I wanted for the rest of it. But down on these little dinky feet, I wanted it more of a solid copper. So I'm going to just apply it thicker and see if that makes a difference. Also, I did use the end of a piece that I'd already done this entire piece with at the front, and then I used it at the bottom. I think if I'd have cut another piece off, a new piece off, and stuck that on, would have got a more solid colour. But it is more kind of, it's more broken up than like a gold leaf effect. But again, that's another reason I like it, because I don't like too much metallic. I just wanted to like some accents. A whole tabletop. I mean, you could, yes. But bear in mind, this is how big the strips are. I mean, you get a lot on a roll, but it's just not very wide. So you'd probably have to do a couple of applications to make sure that it was like a solid copper. It is something that I've actually wanted to experiment with for a while, but I just haven't got the right piece to kind of do that like solid copper top. So yeah, you can do it. It's just, I don't know. I find this lends itself better to that more kind of distressed look. You will have a seam line. Don't go all the way to the edge. Oh, on the gold leaf. Yeah, I watched a few, like this is a few years ago when I did it, and I watched a couple of YouTube videos, and there was just a few places where I was just a bit like, nah, not liking that kind of look. And I've also seen it on other people's work as well. Not that I zoom in on other people's work, but you know, like you think, is this just me? Have I just done this wrong? And then when you look at other people's work, I was like, oh no, I can actually see that kind of look on, that's kind of where the join is on big areas, yeah. I mean, to the untrained eye, you probably wouldn't notice, but it was just because I was particularly bothered by it. I went looking. But I don't get this with this. I don't get that kind of where it stops and starts again. I've never got it with this particular product, but that's, everyone's got their own preferences with regards to products. I'm just showing you how I use this to fit with my style and the best things that I found to use this, if that makes sense. So yeah, I always, I don't know, did I say this at the start? Slightly dampen my bristles. Now, that's not because the glue needs a damp brush to work. Not at all. It's just that I find that it makes cleaning the brush at the end of it better. Because if I don't have to throw a brush away, I won't. I don't like throwing things away, but I always do use a brush that doesn't matter, just in case I have to. So I am literally using the brush on its side like this, and I'm just running it along here, and so that it kind of gives, I don't want symmetry. I don't want it all to look symmetrical and the same. I just want it to look like it's kind of sort of almost feathering in off all of these corners and that one, and then just kind of leading around the corner from that as well. I can't remember where I've put glue now. I do usually work, like if I'm working on a bigger piece, I just work in small sections so you can remember where you've been. If I'm working on something of this size, I just do like this kind of side and then move it around and then do the next side. Because I just forget where I've been. I forget where I've been. I'm also going to just run my paintbrush on its side along there, so that it'll just catch that edge a little bit. But you can use this through a stencil. That looks really cool. I did do it on a piece when it first came out, when it first was released. I did do it on a little kind of nightstand, and I kind of did a faded sort of distressed stencil in gold. It works really well. It looks really, really effective. Okay, so the places where I applied the glue at the very start have started to, they've gone see-through. I mean, if you catch it in the light, if you move, you can see the glue. I can see where it's kind of gone. It goes a little bit shiny, so you can kind of see. Where it's thicker down here, it's still white. Don't be tempted to stick this over the top of your glue when it's still white, because it won't work. You need it to go clear and tacky. Otherwise, it'll just peel straight off. So I just snip pieces about, yeah, the stencils look really cool. So all you do is, obviously, if I want it to stencil here, is just obviously put your stencil on. I use, for this particular one, I think you can get these from like craft stores, and I got these off Amazon really cheap. So these are like foam dabbers, really, really inexpensive. You can buy them, like I say, in the UK, you can buy them from craft stores and stuff, and you can get lots of different sizes. So I use that, and then I do throw them away, because it gums up all the foam. I find that's the best way to apply the glue through a stencil because it gives you a really flat surface area. So if you use a brush, what can happen is you can kind of force the glue underneath the stencil and it can kind of, it doesn't give you a nice crisp line. Whereas this, I find, just concentrates the glue. Because obviously stenciling with paint and stenciling with glue, slightly different because they're different thicknesses. So I just personally found that this was the best way. Again, each to their own. You could also use a Dixie Belle blue sponge and chop it up into little pieces. You could use one of those as well, just because it's got the right density to hold on to the glue and it doesn't hang on to too much product like a brush can, and then obviously cause you to have the bleed through. So I literally usually just take off that much at a time. I'm just going to put the lid on the glue because I know what I'm like. That's going to go flying, and I do not want to clean that glue up because it's very sticky. So I just work with, what's that? A few inches? 8 inches? I don't know. I just work with small pieces because it's not flying about all over the place and you're not trying to control it, and you can just snip another bit off and you can good to go. So everywhere that I can see that is now clear, I can stick this on. So you stick it that way on. It's essentially very similar to a transfer, but it's a solid sheet of colour, and you basically put the glue on, and instead of this transfer being sticky, obviously transfers have got something on them that sticks to furniture, and then you rub it and burnish it. It's essentially like that. So you put it on that way, so metallic side up. You rub it with your finger. That's all I do. However, if you did, again, want more of a solid line, I have seen people rub it with toothbrushes, and I don't have a toothbrush to hand, weirdly, in my workshop. Oh, no, that's not the right thing. I've got, no, you all know what toothbrush is. I don't know, I'm trying to find it. But if you rub this with a toothbrush, it basically rubs it on, and you get more of a solid line. I'm going to rub it with my finger because I've got some texture on this table as well, and that's just going to help me kind of get that sort of that look. Can you see? You will in a minute. So again, and then you just rub it and peel it off. That's it. So I'm just going to get that corner. And you'll know that if you have done gold leafing before, when you touch a sheet of gold leaf or copper leaf or whatever, it literally disintegrates, and it's very hard if you only need to use that kind of partial of that sheet, like only a part of it. It's so hard to lift it off the surface and put it back down again because I hate waste. I hate waste, even though it's very inexpensive, but it just bugs me. So with this, because it's a tape and it's got like a bit of, obviously that's what it looks like when the golds come off. It's just clear tape. Because it's got, you know, a bit of strength, you can just whack it on and just pull it off. And you can go back and use that somewhere else. So you get loads out of one little bit. And can you see how shiny that is? Oh, I just didn't catch that comment. Sorry. Whoever that was that just commented something about alive, I do apologise. So I've just run it across here ever so slightly, and it's just catching the light. Really pretty. I'll give you a close-up in a second. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm going a bit metallic crazy at the moment. I have got a piece over there that I'm going to use the gold on. It's like buses. I don't use metallics for ages, and then it just happens all at once. So this little piece is actually a video that I'm doing for the Dixie Belle YouTube channel. So if you want to see the complete transformation, make sure you're subscribed, because that will be, as soon as the video is edited and done and sent to Dixie Belle, obviously they will, they probably won't post it straight away, but they will be posting it at some point. So make sure you subscribe to see how it turns out and all the other weird and wonderful things I do. So can you see how much use I'm getting out of one piece? I've managed to do this whole entire side, and she's still going strong. And I like to kind of turn it around and just get as much out of it as you possibly can. Like so. I'll just do this leg, and then for the bottom, where it was ever so slightly thicker and more of like a solid coverage with the glue, I am going to get a new piece of foil. So I love that distressed look. I just think it works with my kind of style. That kind of boho-y kind of look that I love. So down here, this is where I'd already partially put some, and then I went over the top with another coat of glue, and now I've got another new piece of this, and I'm hoping it's going to be more of a solid kind of block of copper. So I'm going to make sure this is rubbed really well. So you can see solid copper. That's so shiny. I'm sure my dogs think I'm absolutely crazy because I'm just sat here just chatting, and they must think I'm talking to myself. Obviously, they have got no idea about YouTube videos, lives. Bella keeps looking at me as if to say, are you okay? So all the places that I added that glue, it's going to stick. So you can see, come closer, you can see that. And I'm just going to move it around so you can, does it catch the light? It's super, super shiny. I would say it's equal shininess to leaf. Now, in terms of top coat, do you have to top coat this? No. You actually don't need to top coat this. It's very durable on its own, so you don't have to top coat this like you do leaf. However, I do. And that's just because I usually top coat all my pieces because I sell them. But it's a lot sort of tougher than gold leaf, than leafing. So I am going to be top coating this. Also, I want to add some wax, some coloured waxes onto this, either brown or black. So I want to add a top coat so that the coloured wax doesn't grab too much onto my paint and my copper leaf and make it look too dirty. So I'll be adding that for that reason as well. But isn't it cool? Isn't it such a cool product? It's a lot of fun. Having a great time. Ta-da! And again, for that bit, oh, mind you, I've got a bit of a solid bit here. I've got another foot down here that requires a bit more of a solid. But even if it doesn't go completely kind of copper this time, what I can do is just apply another layer of glue and then apply more copper over the top of that. But again, I don't want it to be really symmetrical. I don't want it all exactly the same all the way round. So I might not actually make it so solid on this one. Like a bit of variation. I've also picked up some paint off the table there. That was not intentional, but we can cover that. So I don't know if you can see, I've got a little bit of purple paint here that I've picked up off here. Must have stuck to the gold, the copper off here. I should really turn this over because it's got that much paint on it. So I'm just going to add some more glue off my, whoa, easy, off my brush. Wait till that goes clear, and then I can just cover that little bit of paint up, because she ain't coming off. Once she's on, she ain't coming off. This glue is very sticky. I've got it all over my hands because I am a messy person. But if you didn't get it on your hands, you'd be okay. So that's that. I'm just going to see if I can show you it catching the light. Can you see how coppery it is? Just move it around so you can see. And then that's the foot at the bottom of that one. I like it. I think it's got a really cool look to it. It definitely works on this piece. Let me put you back in the holder. Whoa, sorry. So that's 2 sides out of 4 that I've done of this little table. And then, like I said, I'm going to top coat it, add some coloured waxes to kind of grunge it up a little bit. And yeah. I've just seen a comment about surf prep. I assume that you've been talking about surf preps while I've been working. We can't get surf preps in the UK. So we have festivals. That's what that is. Seen better days. I've had it for a few years, but it's very similar to a surf prep, is that. But like I say, we can't get surf prep over here, so this is pretty much one of the only things that I could find. And we've got that sponge that goes on, so you can sand around corners and curvy pieces like this. I know that question probably wasn't directed at me, but I just thought I'd throw my input in there of sanders for you. So if you haven't already, I'd love it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Obviously, I'm here live on the Dixie Belle YouTube channel now, but I mean, my channel's worth a plug while I'm here. And there's 72 odd thousand subscribers. I know probably about 500 people will watch this if I'm lucky. But if you can come over to Faff Designs and subscribe to me, I've only got a little YouTube channel. It's growing, but it's small. So, I mean, we've got to start somewhere, haven't we? We can't all be like Dixie Belle and have 70,000 subscribers. I'm approaching 7,000, which I'll take that because I only started really doing YouTubes at the start of this year. So I think that's okay. I think it's all right. But yeah, if you want to give me a subscribe over on Faff Designs, that'd be awesome. Also, make sure you subscribe to the Dixie Belle YouTube channel so that you can see when new content goes live, such as this one. There's also loads and loads and loads of other content creators and brand ambassadors that create YouTube videos for the Dixie Belle YouTube channel that you won't find anywhere else. So make sure you subscribe so that you can see all of those. I go live every Tuesday, my time 2 p.m. So your time, early morning, depending on where you are in the US. But yeah, I'll be back here next week. If the weather's nice, I'll take you outside and we'll do the outside project. If the weather's not nice, we'll have a different project going on. Don't worry, there will always be a backup project. So thank you for joining me today. Hope you enjoyed this. If you want any more information, like I say, you can find me on all the social media channels. And I will catch you next week. Have a lovely day. Bye.